Remember 6 months ago when the internet just wouldn't shut up about Undertale? Or 2 months ago? Or 3 weeks ago? Or 5 days ago? Or 2 seconds ago? It's going to be a long, long time until Undertale is forgotten. And one reason for that is the colorful cast of characters. I mean, it's an RPG, so good characters are to be expected, but the cast is so diverse that many people, myself included, can't quite shut up about it. There's someone for everyone to love, whether you're into nerdy dinosaurs, dogs with necks of incomprehensible length, or goat children. Of course, the internet has done some horrible, unforgivable things to some of these characters, but I just have to put that out of my mind for this list. Although it's gonna stay there forever. Despite many of the game's characters having minor roles, there's still a lot to love about them. I'll be ordering these characters based on their personality, actions, development, music, and even their boss battles if you fight them. And considering that I'm talking about Undertale, there will be spoilers everywhere on this list. So if you haven't played the game yet, I'd suggest picking it up first. You might be a few months late to the party, but I suppose we've all got to start somewhere. Everyone ready to get salty when we don't share the same opinions? Good, because these are my top 10 favorite Undertale characters. It's a pretty common trope for JRPGs to greet you with a mother character. Pokemon's always done it, this little series called Mother does it, and Undertale doesn't do it. Now it decides to greet you with a nice little flower who may or may not want to kill you. But at least he teaches you a good life lesson. Oh, and then Goemon fireballs him. Enter Tortel, the motherly caretaker of the ruins who wants to protect humans from her oh-so-deadly ex-husband. And at the same time, enter her beautiful theme, Fallen Down, one of my favorite songs in the game. Because people just seem to love name puns, Tortel acts as a tutorial to the player, though she's a bit more cautious than most. I mean, she literally holds your hand throughout the first part of the ruins and solves puzzles for you. Yeah, I'd say that she's a bit of a helicopter parent, though considering her past, it's for a pretty good reason. But once you finally do have to fend for yourself against the deadly Froggets and Vegetoids, she does lighten up a bit. When Tortel invites you into her home, she shows that she's a very caring and well-organized person, giving you your own room, preparing an education for you, and even making some delicious butterscotch cinnamon pie. But of course, being the horrible person you are, you choose to leave the ruins. And then, well... The fight with Tortel is a lesson in disguise, and also happens to be one of the things I like most about her. At this point in the game, the players learn about the action spare commands, and will most likely try to find a way to spare Tortel. But to first time players, that doesn't seem to work, meaning that you apparently have to kill her. And yeah, if you do end up doing that, it makes you feel pretty terrible. But the thing is that you're supposed to feel terrible, because you didn't know any better, and this is the game's way of teaching you that every action has consequences. It's one of the first instances of Undertale's brilliance, one that makes me appreciate Tortel a lot more. Although, with her introduction and first fight aside, I never got that attached to her, which is why she's all the way down here at number 10. I'm not one to submit to Goemon when there are far better characters ahead. Okay, sometimes you just gotta love joke characters. Development, symbolism, emotional attachment, all of that can just go out the window, because here we have Burgerpants. Stuck in a dead-end job, robbed of an acting career, labeled with a stupid nickname, this guy certainly has the life, doesn't he? And some beautiful, beautiful faces. Having a very cynical outlook on life, the world, and pretty much everything, Burgerpants is someone who I look forward to meeting in every playthrough. Seriously, the way he just nonchalantly says things with a big smile on his face makes his lines some of the funniest in the game. Just take a listen.
I'm 19 years old and I've already wasted my entire life. I can't go to hell. I'm all out of vacation days. Future? What future? Nothing down here ever changes! Why is this person trying to sell me something? This is a hamburger restaurant! I'm just trying to survive!
Since Burgerpants is infinitely confined to the MTT brand Burger Emporium, trademarked, he doesn't have much in terms of development. Just this one side quest involving some dates that I didn't know about until I started scripting this. But whatever, he doesn't need romance, he just needs to shoot the breeze with you, even when you've killed everyone else. Really, there's not much left to go over. He'll sell you the best healing items in the game, along with some wonderful fake appreciation, but that's about it. I suppose that even if you're funny, there's not much you can do with a wasted life. This, my friends, has been a Yellow Weasel life tip. Come back every other day and pay $999 for some more. Remember that psychotic flower I mentioned earlier who gives even better life tips than me? Well, he also happens to be a pretty good character. When you fall into the underground, Flowey's the first to greet you, claiming to be your new best friend. And who wouldn't trust him? He's a flower, with a cute little face. Ah, so he's a bad guy. Flowey serves as the game's major antagonist, especially in the neutral run. He constantly taunts you, reminds you of your misdoings, pops up to see you every now and then, and oh yeah, absorbs all the human souls at the end of the neutral run. Which gives us this work of art and one of the best bosses in the game. However, Flowey's a bit more than the typical villain. For example, he's actually Asriel, Tortel and King Asgore's son, reborn with determination, but without a soul. This actually makes him kind of a tragic villain, but personally, I just like him as an evil flower with godly powers. Oh yeah, another thing. You know the power of saving that we usually take for granted? Well, in Undertale, that power actually means something in-game, and it's something that Flowey can do. When he obtains the human souls, he crashes your game, makes his own save file, and then proceeds to keep on messing with you. Actually, the way he plays with you, how he mocks and guilts you and just shrugs it all off with a winky face, is probably my favorite thing about his character. It makes him so fun to hate, but also really intriguing. Which is why in the Genocide run, I actually kind of find it scary that he genuinely talks to you and that he's slaughtered mercilessly. Flowey, I'm not your goddamn therapist. Can you go back to being evil? Oh wait, I'm the bad guy now. Oops. With Flowey, there's so much stuff to look into and dig for, but this is a segment in a countdown, not a full-on analysis. I just like him for being evil, and for, well, being a menacing flower of all things. So, how exactly does a mini-boss beat out two of the game's major characters? Well, cause Muffet really makes a big impression. First off, there's the fact that she's freaking adorable. Is she spider waifu? No, I'm not really into that sort of stuff, but with her proper pose, mellow color scheme, and cute outfit, she certainly makes me go, aww. Look at her. She's just so cute, and her personality makes her even more of a cinnamon roll. As the leader of the spiders, Muffet wants to protect her cute little friends at all costs, even if it means selling incredibly expensive goods or taking your soul. She's got a nice laugh, too. But of course, the thing that makes me love Muffet most of all is her boss fight. Not only does it contain one of the best boss themes in the game, Spider Dance, but it's also an incredibly fun battle with some unique mechanics. She's got baked goods, spiders, and her pet to send after you, and all the while, you're restricted to moving between 3 lines, which adds an extra layer of challenge to the fight. Not to mention that the little snippets of dialogue she said throughout the fight add to her character even more. Muffet may be a very minor character in the whole of Undertale, but with everything she's got going for her, she really steals the show, and I love her for it. Once again, we have a regular old enemy above some major characters, though I promise this is the last time. But I just couldn't resist. These are the Temmies, lords and saviors of all things cute. What's not to love about them? Your first encounter with a Temmie proves that they are in fact perfection. She speaks in an erratic manner with the cutest things to say, uses the super stretchy paw to attack, does whatever the hell this is supposed to be, and only desires Tem flakes from you. And of course, Tem is cute! The battle is a nice dose of fun in the dark waterfall area, but it wouldn't be enough to put Temmie this high. Because you see, tucked away in a dark corner is a place blessed by the gods. Temmie Village is the best place in Undertale, and you will not convince me otherwise. It's filled with the best that Temmie species has to offer. You have Hoiv Tem, Egg Tem, Wall Tem, Bob, and the famous Shopkeeper Tem. Shopkeeper Tem in particular is my favorite. She sells you the almighty Tem Flakes, secretly speaks some pretty good English, and if you want to, you can send her to Cool Egg. And then get the Temmie armor if you suck at the game. Have I forgotten to mention that the Temmies have an amazing theme song? Because they do. This glorious piece of music is better than anything you will ever hear. There's only so much I can say about the Temmies. They're cute, they're funny, and most importantly, they are Tem! And now it's time for the main act, the greatest skeleton known to man, fearless defender of the underground, and pasta chef extraordinaire, the one and only Papyrus! Psst. He thinks that this is the #1 spot, so we're just gonna play along with it for now. He might not be the superior skeleton, but I won't deny that he is cool. Yes, Papyrus, the super popular skeleton, is the objective best character in Undertale. From his grand, dazzling entrance in the Snowden Forest to his intense dating skills, he's always guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat begging for more of his glory. A formidable warrior trained under the leader of the Royal Guard, he's a master of fighting with his deadly bones, both white and blue, and even has the power to manipulate your very soul. Only the best of the best are able to best the great Papyrus when he's at his best. Oh, but combat is not his only strength. He also happens to be incredibly intelligent and a master of creating puzzles. Carefully and excruciatingly prepared to challenge all those who dare, these puzzles will test the mind and bodies of even the most hardened veterans. Did you think we were done with this glorious, glorious skeleton? You were wrong! Because of course, such an amazing character could not have gotten so far without plenty of personality. And oh my goodness, does he have it! The strongest, kindest, hard-workingest, and most popular skeleton in all the land attracts the attention of admirers every day. He sees the good in everyone, even if they aren't as popular as him, waking up every day to be the symbol of the entire underground. Give this skeleton all your awards, every last one, while gorging on his exquisite pasta. Papyrus, you love him, we love him, he loves him, and the entire world loves him. He's number one wherever he goes, speaking with elegance in the greatest font of all, the one named after him. Okay, screw this, I'm moving on. From the very beginning of the game, you hear tales of the ruler of the underground. Tortel makes him out to be the bloodthirsty and ruthless final boss of the game, while many of the other characters describe him as a lovable goofball that you have a jolly old time with. The confrontation with Asgore is built up throughout the entire game, and when you finally meet him, he's standing among a patch of golden flowers having a normal day. Too bad you had to ruin that! So yeah, Asgore. The guy who's been built up as your final challenge before leaving the underground is actually pretty nice. But you know, with the two of you having to fight to the death and all, it's kinda hard to get to know him. And it's clear that he really doesn't want to fight by the way he acts towards the player. Despite the intense atmosphere and powerful music playing in the background, he doesn't want to look you in the eyes and really fight, holding back so that he can't kill you until you're at your weakest. So yeah, it's just real fun fighting him, isn't it? The deaths of his children, the loss of his wife, the guilt of killing humans for their souls, it's all taken its toll on Asgore and broken him. I'm not one to read into the depth of his character all that much, but it certainly is a tragic tale. Hell, he gets weaker when you eat Tortel's cooking in front of him and seems to accept his death no matter what, just so he can be with his family again. Yep, plenty of tears to be found here. But thankfully, that's not the end for Asgore, because in the pacifist run, we get to see a less emotionally tortured side of him. Sure, it's not great to be insulted by your ex-wife and abducted by a flower, but it all turns out fine in the credits. That's better, right? Well, it does show his fatherly side, and that's charming. I might not see quite as much in Asgore as some other people do, but I won't deny that for someone who shows up at the very end, he has a fantastic character arc. And for a list like this, that's all I really need. If you were to tell me that a skeleton who speaks in Comic Sans and makes terrible puns would become one of the most popular characters in recent memory, I probably would have believed you. I've been on the internet for a while now, and I can tell people here really dig that kind of stuff. And I won't deny it. I'm one of those people too, because Sans is a very good character. Let's start out with the whole naming scheme. Yeah, the whole Comic Sans plus bad jokes thing is pretty stupid, but also so entertaining. Especially when his jokes tear down the fourth wall in the most glorious of fashions. Outside of that though, he's incredibly lazy and pretty chill. He'll do anything to get off work, make a quick buck, or just totally goof off. However, as with all things Undertale, there's a bit more to him than that. Sans is sometimes one of the more serious characters in the game, and has quite a bit more info on how the world works than most of them. He'll let his darker side show sometimes, and will more often not mess with the player, but that's just the beginning. Considering that he knows about stuff like EXP, love, and your ability to save and reset, there's probably some stuff going on here that we don't know about. But I'm too lazy to actually theorize or dig through the game, so I'll just leave it up to other people. Now, if we had this all by itself, then Sans probably would have made it onto the list. Maybe not quite so high if he only had a few appearances, but what makes me like him so much is how much of a constant he is. Most of the characters only show up for one or two areas, then maybe at the end of the game, but you run into Sans plenty of times throughout your adventure. He's the first one to greet you outside the ruins and the guy who judges you before facing Asgore, and he's always watching in between. In Undertale's crazy and dangerous world, it's nice to know there's always someone you can look forward to meeting. Yeah, no, stop. Cut the sappy stuff. Because, you know, genocide exists. Sans loves to give you a really, really bad time there. That fight may have made me question if I'm good at video games, but it's so great. Ladies, gentlemen, monsters of undefinable genders, she's the hero who never gives up. She breaks boulders just because she can. She's the fearless leader of the Royal Guard. We present to you, Undyne! I never would have thought that a fish giant who can summon spears would become one of my favorite female video game characters, but Undyne managed to pull it off. Might have to do with the fact that she's one of the most entertaining characters in the game. She has an attack first, ask questions later kind of nature, often yelling and shouting at everyone in her path. So yeah, you might not want to make her mad, but when you do, it leads to yet another great boss battle. Undyne is one of the tougher bosses in the game, considering how early she's fought. She forces you to adapt to a new battle system, throws dozens of powerful spears at you, and relentlessly chases you down during the fight. And in Genocide, she kicks your ass even harder with fast attacks that'll kill you in only a few moves. Yeah, this is fun. But that's not the end for Undyne, because we get to see more of her in the pacifist route. When you visit her house for a date, I think, it's revealed that she's actually pretty nice, even if she solves all her problems with brute force. And then you get to watch your day with Alphys, and it's all sweet and stuff, and it definitely doesn't remind me of my crippling loneliness. Please love me. Also, she thinks anime is real. Well, I don't think it'll be that long till she's right. Okay. Even with her entertaining personality and great battles, there's one more thing that put Undyne this high. That would be the fact she actually made me afraid. The build-up to her first battle is incredibly intense, as this immensely powerful foe chases you down through the dark depths of the waterfall and backs you into a corner. It's so well designed, it was one of my favorite parts of the game as a whole. So yeah, there's my deep emotional Undertale story. Undyne made me actually be afraid of a video game character, and I love her for it. However, it still wasn't enough for her to be my favorite in the game. Undertale's characters are written in a fantastic way. They're relatable, they tug at your heartstrings, and you really get to know most of them quite well. So I can certainly see why some people end up forming emotional attachment to them. But with all that said, my favorite character in the game is a killer robot TV host. Oops. Okay, Mettaton is a bit more than a comic relief character, but that's something I'll get to in a minute. For now, let us consider the fact that he's one of the funniest characters in the game. Even as a gray square with a few blinking lights, he's still full of personality, which is pretty obvious from the moment he makes his grand entrance. He makes quips at everybody, even his own creator, is a master of deadpan humor, lives to entertain the masses, and it's almost as if he was made to have near-perfect comedic timing. Oh, but there's more to come from this guy, because in the deep, dark end of the core, Mettaton is waiting, and when you flip his switch, well, I must say, I've never seen a robot quite so sexy. In his EX form, Mettaton absolutely steals the show with his dialogue, dance moves, music, and of course, those beautiful, beautiful legs. Plus, the fight turns the game into a top-down shooter, puts your writing skills to the test, and adds in the ratings mechanic that you have to gradually increase to end the fight. It's easily the most upbeat battle in the game, and feels like it's right out of a TV show. However, even with all this fun stuff in mind, the thing that solidifies Mettaton as my favorite character in the game is how his character arc comes to a close. You see, it's heavily implied that Mettaton is the cousin of Napstablook, with his soul being implanted into a robot's body. So, when you finally reach the show's highest ratings ever on its final episode, and one lucky viewer gets the chance to call in, guess who it is? After a conversation that makes Mettaton clearly upset, the viewers of the Underground all call in to say that they'll miss him. All this time, he's been trying to kill you so that he can go and entertain humanity, but after hearing the support of all his fans, Mettaton decides that it's best to stay in the Underground for their sake. This little bit of development is something that I always love to see in minor characters, because it often takes them from being filler to being incredibly likable. With just a bit of dialogue, Mettaton becomes more human, showing that he really does have feelings for the creatures of the Underground. It really is nice to throw in that little bit of emotion sometimes, and when you mix that together with all of his other traits, it makes for a pretty damn good character. This has been Yellow Weasel, and I'll see you in the Dark World.